Hi everyone, this is Mrs. Cole. I'm recording this from home. I have a special guest, Lucy. She's really not thrilled at all to be here, so I'll let her go. This is my first time doing a webcam like this, so what you're going to find is that when I'm looking like this, I'm looking at the script. When I'm looking like this, I'm looking at the camera, and every once in a while I'll look at myself, so it'll look like that. I'll try not to do that too much. I also found that I close my left eye a lot, so I'm going to try not to do that right now either. Congratulations on finishing your second to last unit in science. Tomorrow we're going to be heading into our motions and forces unit, and your final project for that is going to be a motion game. And so what I wanted to do, rather than have you, sit here and waste time doing nothing, I'd rather talk to you about your motion game so you can get started thinking about it, because we only have about 8 days and then you'll be playing your motion games and having a motion game day. So that's what this whole purpose is. You're going to be using Science Notebook number 1, page 100, and I'm going to be talking a little bit about what to expect on motion game day, and then I'm going to be talking about specifics that have to do with your motion game. So if you could open up your Science Notebook to page 100, and we'll get started as soon as I can figure out where my script went. Okay, so someday you may have an online course, and online courses will either do live chats or sometimes you'll have videos that you have to watch. And so this kind of gives you an example of what that might be like. High schools are trying to go into online courses, and a lot of colleges will do online courses as well. So we'll see if you like this or not. Tomorrow we're starting our last unit, the Motions and Forces unit, as I said. We'll be learning about Sir Isaac Newton and his 3 laws of motion, and we'll be talking about some vocabulary words. The big project for this unit is that you are going to invent a game. Whatever kind of game you want, a game. Basically, it's a game that you invent, and it'll be a little bit of a twist on maybe some games that you've already enjoyed. We'll be having our game day at the end of the unit on June 7th. Game day is a lot of fun because you'll be playing the game that you invent. You'll probably play your game 4 or 5 times, and you'll play the games of 4 or 5 other people's as well. I'm going to be matching you up with people that day, and then you'll get to play each other's game, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. You want your game to be your invention. Some people like to bring in a foam ball and a little basketball and make a game of shooting baskets. Okay, that's great, but what's your own unique twist on that? Maybe you have to roll a die to see how many shots you get. Maybe each spot on the floor is a different number of points. Maybe you pick a card and that tells you how many shots that you get. So somehow you're going to add a twist to a game or completely invent a brand new game. This game can be whatever you want it to be. You can use parts of other games, bowling pins, basketball, but the game itself has to be your inventions. Some examples of games that we've had in the past. One year somebody brought in a soccer ball, and then they had a board, and on that board they had circles, and each circle had a certain number of points, and then when you kicked a soccer ball through one of those holes, you got that number of points. And then at the end of the game, the person with the most points was the winner. Another time somebody brought in 2 of those long plastic things that like curtains come in, or that blinds come in, and they filled them up with water, and then they had 2 little plastic boats, and so they put one in each water, and then the contestants had to use their breath to get the boats across the blind containers, and then the person who got it across the line first was the winner. And I think they did a best 2 of 3 or something like that. So that's, stuff you have around your house is fine to use as well. One of the most creative but fun games, but simple games that anybody ever made was somebody brought in a jar, and on it they put a brown piece of paper towel. They used rubber band to hold it on, and they got the paper towel wet. And then in the middle of that they put a quarter, and the 2 contestants had to poke holes in the paper towel, and the person who poked the hole that made the quarter fall through was the person that lost the game. So something totally simple as that would be fine. Right. This game can be, as I said a million times already, whatever you want it to be, but there are some requirements. So on page 100, you're going to write down these things. Okay? Number 1, it has to be a game you invent. So you probably want to write down something like, a game I invent, not me. Okay? You can use parts of other games, but it has to be your invention. How do you get the points? How do you figure out who goes first? Something, your twist on it. Number 2, and this is important, there has to be a winner. How many times have you played a game where there was no winner? In this one, there has to be a winner. Number 3, there have to be rules. But again, you get to make them up. There have to be rules, but I don't need to see them written down. You don't have to present them to me. You don't have to make a copy for everybody in class. You'll probably just explain your rules to the people as they play your game, but you need to make sure that you know them. Number 4, this one's a weird one. I don't know how you want to write this one down, but on game day, we're going to be playing in this classroom, in the science lab, and in the LGI. So we're going to be between the 3 rooms. You might play, you know, games in all different rooms. It depends on the size of the games and where people set them up. So number 4 is you have to be able to fit the materials in the classroom, the science lab, or the LGI. One year we had somebody who brought in like this huge ramp, and they had a car that went over the ramp, and then you had to fly it off the ramp, and the person that got it to fly the farthest was the winner. Unfortunately, people were getting it too far and it was hitting the wall, so it was hard to come up with a winner. We had to actually, I think, end up putting that one outside so that people could have more space. I don't want to plan for outside just to be on the safe side, because if it rains, then you're kind of out of luck. So it has to be able to fit in the classroom, the science lab, or the LGI. Number 5, a weird one to write down. Not too short, not too long. Okay? You don't want your game to last 2 seconds, but yet you don't want it to last 2 hours. 15 minutes is about the best way to go. What you probably want to do is, once you invent your game, is you want to have people in your family play it or your friends play it, just to make sure that it fits and that you don't have to change anything for it. So number 5 is not too short, not too long. Number 6 is one that you don't have to worry about just yet, but just know for the future. Eventually, you'll be explaining where the motions and forces vocabulary fits into your game. We'll be talking about the vocabulary words over the next 7 days. And then when it comes game day, you're going to need to know where those words are in your game. Not that one of the words is motion, not that motion is right there, that's the word motion, but where is the term motion in your game? And motion is going to be movement from one place to another. So anytime you move something, obviously there's movement. So we'll talk about that more later on. Number 7, make it a game you're interested in. You are going to be playing this a bazillion times. Well, maybe not that much, but it'll feel like it. Make sure this is something that you want to play and that you're having fun with. And number 8, it's due June 7th. So that's it for the rules for the game. Please have your parents sign this page in your notebook and show it to me tomorrow so that I can get you credit for your notebook turn-in this week. Even though I said there wasn't going to be notebook turn-in, this is the thing that I will be looking for, and you can just show it to me and then you'll get your points for the week. Now I just want to talk to you a little bit about game day and what to expect. On game day, I'll be mixing and matching people up. Let's say I'm playing with Katie. Katie and I will decide whose game we play first. Let's say it's mine. I explain the rules to Katie and then we play. When we're done, Katie will have a sheet to fill out and she'll have to ask me questions, and she'll either give me a 1, a 0, or she can give me a half. When we're done, we'll go play Katie's game, and then she'll explain the rules to me. We'll play, hopefully I'll win, and then she gives me her sheet and I ask her the questions and I give her a 1, a 0, or a half. At the end, you'll both come to see me, Mrs. Cole, and then I will partner you up with somebody else. At the end, you'll get an opportunity to pick whose game you play, but until then, I'll be partnering you up just so you can get a wide range of games. I know this is kind of weird maybe to do this, but I will be back tomorrow to answer any questions, and we'll start on our motions and forces unit. But until then, your 2 things are: 1, to start thinking of what kind of game you want to do, and to 2, have your parents sign this page in your notebook. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.